These are my absolute favorite polynomials to factor. This is called the sum and difference of cubes. In order to factor the sum and difference of cubes, you need to recognize your cubes. So I'm going to refer to 1 cubed through 10 cubed. So remember, these are facts that you should have in your mathematical bank in your brain. 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, 6 cubed is 216, 7 cubed is 343, 8 cubed is 512, 9 cubed is 729, and 10 cubed is 1000. And you need to be able to recite those as fast as I just did myself. Maybe even faster. Sometimes I have students who will. They'll be a little bit faster than me on that. Not gonna lie, I'm not the fastest person, but what I can do is I can recall numbers that look like cubes. So I might not be fast in giving my answer as to what 7 cubed is, but I can recognize that 343 is a cube when I see it. And that's the important part, that you can recognize these numbers, 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, 216, all the way through 1000. You can recognize those when you see them. Now, there's some formulas, and I have a fun kind of way of remembering these formulas. If I want to factor a cubed plus b cubed, it's going to equal a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And this is how I remember it. So this is like a little karaoke ball. So we start with a plus b. So when you can recognize the cubed root of your first term and the cubed root of your second term, and you put them in a binomial, the trinomial is very easy to create. I call this bouncy bouncy. So this is like a bouncy karaoke ball. So it bounces, and every time it bounces, it multiplies. So it's bouncy bouncy, so that's a times a. See the a times a. Then it's bouncy over, that's a times b. See the a times b. And then bouncy bouncy, and that's b times b, which is right over here. So let's try that again. Bouncy bouncy, that's a squared. Bouncy over, a times b. Bouncy bouncy, that's b squared. Bouncy bouncy, bouncy over, bouncy bouncy. One more time. Bouncy bouncy, bouncy over, bouncy bouncy. And then we determine the signs with SOAP. So the first sign is the same sign. The second sign is the opposite of that sign. So the first sign is positive, the second one's going to be the opposite. And then the last is always positive. Always positive. And that's true on our difference of cubes. So when we have our difference of cubes, a cubed is a cube of a, b cubed is a cube of b, and then we have bouncy bouncy, which would be a times a, which is a squared. Oops. Bouncy bouncy, let's just bring it bouncy bouncy. Then we'd have bouncy over, which is a times b. And then we would have bouncy bouncy. And bouncy bouncy is b squared. So now we have the same sign. We started with a difference, so the same sign would be negative. The opposite of the negative is a positive, and the last is always positive. So let's try this with some numbers, and maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. Like I said, this one's my favorite. I think once you catch on to it, you'll find how incredibly straightforward it really is. X cubed is a cube of x, and 512 is a cube of 8. So I'm going to create my small parentheses and my large parentheses. The x falls right into the first term of the binomial. The 8 is the second term. Then I'm going to do bouncy bouncy, so that's x times x. Then bouncy over, which is 8x, and then bouncy bouncy is 64. We're going to take the same sign, which is a positive. The opposite of a positive is a negative, and then we always positive on the last one. We are always positive on the last one. And there is our factored form. Okay, let's have you try that. 216a cubed plus b cubed. Okay, and our answer, it always helps me to write the cubed root on top. I've got 6a and b, and then 6a times itself is 36a squared. 6a times b is 6ab, and then b times itself is b squared. And then we have positive, the opposite of a positive, and then always positive. Okay, here's another example. We've got 8x cubed minus 125. 8x cubed is a cube of 2x. 125 is a cube of 5. So in our small parentheses, I have 2x and 5. And in the large parentheses, we're going to have bouncy bouncy, which is 4x squared. Bouncy over, which is 10x. And then bouncy bouncy is 25. Same sign will be negative this time. The opposite of a negative is a positive, and then the last term is always positive. And that is our factored form. Okay, you try 1000x cubed minus 1. And hopefully you got 10x minus 1. 100x squared plus 10x plus 1 is our final answer. And hopefully this video of sum and difference of cubes has been helpful for you, and you find that maybe perhaps